Hey all, bullets on a budget here. This is going to be the first of a new set of videos that I do that focus on tools used for personal defense. I'm going to focus on predominantly what I own, which are lethal or potentially lethal options, and I'm going to go ahead and get some non-lethal options and show how to use them. I'm also going to do videos on survivalism and field medicine. I was a 68 Whiskey, a combat medic in the U.S. Army. So just kind of wanted to give some background. So that being said, I'm going to show what my everyday setup is, kind of explain it, break it down, and you can kind of make your own decisions on if you would carry it, if you would use it, and go from there. So first and foremost, I'm going to talk about the blades that I carry. So this is a little fun overbuilt work knife. This is fully manual. There's no spring assist to it. Gets the job done for work. Nice bit of kit. It is a little difficult to close. It's got a heavy clasp there that you have to push to open it, or sorry, to close it rather. But you can either open it like this and use the thumb studs to finish opening it, or you can open it partially, give it a good flick. Sounds kind of nice, and there is your blade. However, this is just my work knife. It is what I use every day. But for something that opens a little quicker, especially in a defensive situation, things like the Gerber-Foss Tonto are extremely paramount. So, Tonto blade, straight edge. It's got a, for entry, for defensive situations, and for slashing. Serrated edges there in case you need to cut out of something or to cause extra damage. So it's also got this little switch here, which is actually the lock. So I push that up, close the blade, and if I leave it open, it opens up. But if I push it down, she's not going anywhere. So this deploys a little faster. This came in for me at about 60 bucks. The first knife that I showed you, which is my everyday work knife, that came in at about 20, and that's just a big old fearsome looking box cutter. But I'm comfortable enough to use it if I have to do so in a defensive situation. Now, the more direct lines of communication, the cordless hole punches, or I think I've heard them called wireless high-speed devices, or high-speed wireless devices. If you don't know what I'm talking about, this is what I'm talking about, your firearm. This is my personal firearm, and just to show that we're being safe, the safety is on, but I'm going to drop that magazine and demonstrate that the chamber is clear and this gun is completely unloaded. Completely unloaded. So this is my everyday carry. This is a Smith & Wesson Shield 45, chambered in, that light sucks, chambered in 45 ACP. So this is my everyday sidearm. I have gone to the range with it. I'm completely comfortable with it. How to deploy it, how to do so in a quick time reaction situation. And these are the rounds that I use. This is Federal Punch 230 grain jacketed hollow point. This is a heavier bullet than what I was originally using for a defensive round, which was Hornady Critical Defense. That came in at 185 grains. Now, the heavier bullet does help with recoil management, and in compact handguns, you can have a little bit more recoil because you are firing out of a shorter barrel. Heavier bullets do help with that, and Federal does some great work with their rounds. Also, on the topic of defensive rounds versus range rounds. So they're in my safe, I don't have them with me, but that is your jacketed hollow point. So again, that hollow point there helps with expansion and to stay within the person or the target, minimizing collateral damage. Full metal jackets, which have a solid bullet, they are more likely for pass-through and unfortunately maximizing collateral damage in an environment that is not the range itself. So defensive rounds, there are a couple of, and I need to look them up, so this is on me rather, but there are a couple of solid defensive rounds that they have some of the tip of the bullet itself kind of carved out. There's one that looks almost like a little whirlpool, but I'll look into that and see if any stores around have it and test them out and see how they do. But this is good in my hand because even though I've got a big hand, this did come with the 6 and 7 round magazines. I do prefer the 7 round magazines because I can carry 7 in the magazine, 1 in the head, for a total of 8 rounds. So it has the same capacity as a full size 45. Just I'm gonna put that safety on, just in the palm of my hand, and I get a good grip. Again, weapon's free and clear. So something also that you want to work on is acquiring your sight picture. This is where range practice comes in. So there's something called reflexive firing, where we're able to fire with both eyes open, but when you fire, you are able to line up those back sights and that front sight post perfectly, so it looks like there's 3. So sight picture, range time, those are all things. Range time is important because there are you can use that to hone your skills, hone your draw. There are things you can do like dry firing and practice at home and things like that. Now, so that is my concealment, and how I carry it is this. So I actually got this in a trade. They go for about $135. This is a Tier 1 concealment Axis Elite appendix carry holster. Now, if you take this off, like this little magazine wing here, and you put this on this, if you decide to side carry like I used to, especially with this little wing here that helps with holding it closer to your body, you can use it as a side carry. It does become a little uncomfortable if you try to side carry with the magazine wing on it, which is why I actually carry appendix. So I'm a bigger guy. I weigh almost 300 pounds. It still sits comfortably. It has the weapon, because of my natural girlish figure, it keeps the weapon at a nice cant. So if I need to draw, it is there, it's ready. Lift up my shirt, one fluid motion, the weapon is drawn. And it conceals like this, or it holds like this. So I have my extra magazine here, my weapon here, and that sits right here under my shirt. It also doesn't really print all that much, so people would never know you're carrying, which is kind of the point of concealed carry. Now, these are just some basics. I am going to go into more in-depth videos, i.e. defensive rounds, different gear that I have, different survivalism techniques, as I said before, field medicine, things like that, first aid. And I think this is a good start. This is just a quick little layout as to what I have, comparing it to what maybe some people might use, where you can go get these things like that. So let me know what you want to say. If you have any questions about this, let them down in the comments below, and we'll talk shop. But stay safe, stay ready, and remember, your body, your choice. Cheers.